Said in my journey through the world, over land and over sea, I see different cultures and different people's ways. I was born where the sun never sets and never rises. I was born where the heat is like a second skin.
You just don't have a lever come into this environment and the world does not change. The first picture I have in my head is the Evans in 1968 winning the Olympic gold medal. The journey, tell us about it.
When I was 19 years old, I was number one in the world. I've been lucky. I always had good coaches. I had a pretty good year. I had ran 46-1 in Northern California. San Jose is in the north of California. So they had the Pacific Track and Field Association. The Pacific means you was in the north, you know, Pacific Ocean's dark blue. And it was very beautiful. But if I won the championship in Northern California, they would buy the flight ticket for me and my coach. They would pay for our ticket, the Pacific Association, like it was in San Francisco. So I won the Pacific Association Championship. I ran 46-1. That was my best time. And so then they bought my coach a ticket to go to New York, Randall's Island, New York for the national championships. We ran heats, semi-final, then final. It was 3 races, yeah. I won my heat very easily. I think I must have ran my maybe 46.5. It was very easy. You know, it was dirt track in those days. This is 1966. And in semifinal, I broke the competition record. And this competition had been going on since 1893 or 1895. And I'm just surprised that in the semifinal, I beat times that people, they have it every year. From 1890 something, I ran the fastest ever for that competition. I was very surprised. I ran 45.3, new competition record. And the next day in the final, I ran 45.5. And I was surprised because that's the first time I had run, you know, in the big competition where you had to run 2 or 3 races, where I ran faster in the semifinal than I did to the final. So that was unusual. I never did it again, matter of fact. That was the first time. But you know, like I said, I like to win, and this guy named David Crook from Nebraska, you know, and I was a lane behind him, so I followed him, and 70 meters to go, I said, well, I can't let this white guy beat me. So I passed him and broke the competition record. And they said, where do you want to go this summer? You have to represent the U.S. against Russia and Poland. We were going to run in Brussels, Belgium, Paris, France, Innsbruck, Switzerland, Cologne, Germany. You know, I said, I want to go to all of them. I never been out of the States before. I never been out of California. So I went to all these countries. When I was 19 years old, I went there. I didn't lose a race. I never lost a race in Europe. That was easy, you know. So, you know, that's when I was 19. I came back home like a big hero, you know. I bought some gifts for my mother and my father. 1967, my second year in university, I won the national championships again. How fast did I run? Oh, I remember now. I ran 45.0.
Wow.
In Bakersfield, California. In Berkeley, we ran against USA versus Poland. You know, I beat those guys easily. Then I went to Los Angeles, and we ran against the Russians. I beat those guys easily also. But in Los Angeles, I ran 45.2. I beat my best time.
Wow.
I said, man, I'm getting pretty fast now. I was thinking to myself. And then I think I went to Italy for the first time. And the Italians gave you money. All those guys, they dress so neat. They suit, but you've been to Italy, they have really nice cut suits. I said, damn, these guys must be the mafia. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They dress like the mafia. And they plus, and after the race they give me $500. I said, man, that's a lot of money. So I was very, so then I knew I got to come to Italy every year. Because they gave more money. They gave more money than Germany. The Italians gave more money than any other country for when I ran. And I went home. Like I said, everybody was happy. I didn't lose any races, and I had all these gifts. And this was it. But 68, I felt I was 21. It's my third year in university, and I knew. I said, I know how to run this race now. But it took till I was 21 years old to be confident that I knew everything about the 400. I knew more than my coach did about it. I could teach my coach about 400 now. So I won the National University Championship, just like I did the year before. I ran 45-0. Then I went to the national championships. You had to be the first 6 in the national championship to qualify for the Olympic trial. So I won that competition. I ran 45.1. So when I ran my 400 meters in the Olympic trials, I broke the world record. I ran 44.06.
Wow.
44.0, man. I said, whoa. But that was my objective. I wanted to run 45. That was exactly what my objective was. I always would write on the wall next to my bed. This is my bed. And on the wall here, I would always write what I wanted to run. I said, Lee, 1968 run 44.3. For yards. 44.3 is 44.0, and from yards to meters. So I ran exactly what I wanted. I did the same thing when I was a freshman. When I was 19 years old, I said, Lee run 45.2, 1966. That's exactly what I ran 45.2. So I was, I could hit it pretty good. And so I broke the world record.
Tell us briefly your nomadic coaching life.
I wanted to be a coach. That's why I studied health and physical education. I went to luckily for me, that university was in my hometown. So I learned from the best. His name was Bud Winters, a very red white man. He was a nice guy. I loved him. He was my coach. To me, he was the best coach in the world. Your coach must be the best coach in the world because he's coaching you, and you putting your trust in him. He better be the best. You better think he's the best, even if he's not. See what I'm saying? The mind is a wonderful thing. If you think you have the best coach in the world, he will be that. And I tell my students that I coach, I said, you're going to have to think that I'm the best coach in the world. Because when you go to the starting line, you're going to think about, my coach taught me how to do this, so I got to do it this way, this way. So that's confidence you can take to the starting line if you think you have the best coach. I told my coach, I said, Coach, when I finish university, I want to go coach in Africa. I said, how do I do that? Because I know my coach had worked in other countries before. So my coach told me, write Mel Whitfield. Mel Whitfield, he was in charge of Sports America. He was in charge of all the coaches that America would send around the world. Anyway, I wrote Mel a letter, Washington, D.C. He wrote back. I said, Mel, my name is Lee Evans. I won the Olympic Games. I'm going to graduate from university next year, and I want to come work in Africa, coach in Africa. He told me, he said, Lee, finish university, get some experience, then contact me again. That's what he said. But how I came to Nigeria was, remember I told you we had a mailbox in Mexico City in the Olympic Village? Among these letters where these people said we're going to kill you tomorrow at 2 o'clock was a telegram from Nigeria. So I opened that one first. Nobody from Nigeria, from Africa has ever written me a letter or even sent me a telegram. It was from Isaac Akioye from the Institute of Physical Education in Ile-Ife, Nigeria. I said, wow. He said, you are welcome to come coach and teach at the University of Ile-Ife at any time. That's what Akioye wrote to me. And in the telegram, I wrote him back. When I got back home, about a week later, I wrote him back. I said, I'm just in my third year university. When I finish, and I quoted, when I finish, get some experience, I'm coming. 7 years later, I was in Nigeria. Yeah. And it was destined. I always felt it was destined because one day, I think I must have been 15, 16 years old, they had and it was in civics or history class. And in the book, they had a picture of a black guy all tied up, and his neck was tied. He had some collar on his neck, and his legs all tied up. It was drawn by somebody. This is slaves from West Africa. I said, that's me. I was so happy. I didn't know who the hell I was. It was the biggest revelation in my life. And the next thing came to my brain, I gotta go there. The next second, I gotta go there. I said, the guy who they had all tied up, who was my ancestor, who I'm related to, he wanted to go back. I said, I would go back for him, Wow. My ancestor was always, I say bugging me, meaning it would always come in my mind, I gotta go back to Africa for this guy. So in 1975, I came to Nigeria. He left me alone. Seriously, people think I'm spiritual that way. I really believe that his spirit was telling me to take me home. I came home. I haven't heard from him since. But so Nigeria was the first country that I came to and worked in. I coached. So then, of course, I was the coach for the national team as well, and I found great athletes, man. Great athletes walked into that stadium. Like Amike, Rotimi Peters from Abeokuta. Kinde Vaughn. She was only 16 years old. She won the 400. Wow. Yeah, you remember Kinde. Yeah. Beautiful young girl. And she took second in the 200. We had a good team. We won the 4x4. We were second in the 4x1. And so Mel Whitfield came to see me, looking for me. He said, Lily, you're doing a good job in Nigeria. He said, when your contract finish? I told him, I said, in 2 years. He said, when you finish, I want you to come work for me. So I contacted Mel Whitfield because I told you he was in charge of Sports America. He sent me to about 25 different African countries. Wow. I was all over. Mel would send me there sometime for 6 weeks, sometime for 2 months, and I would work mainly with the coaches and the students. Some students would be there also. Man, I taught, and it took me about a year and a half to go to all these countries.
So you're in Wasimi. How did you get to Wasimi? What's your dream? What's your vision?
From my experience in Nigeria, I met Segun Odegbami. I used to train my athletes in the Liberty Stadium in Ibadan. And that's the same place where the Ibadan shooting stars used to train. So I got to know him there. I recognized him. I greet him. He greet me. And I know who he was, but I had no idea where you were from. I didn't know your village. But I came back to Nigeria this time just because I know this was where my ancestor came from. Shegun Odegbami, he told me about, he had started a international college and a sports academy. He invited me, he asked me if I wanted to come work there. I said yes. And here I am. I'm here in Wasimi. I'm very happy. My dream is to build an athletic team here that will be the best in Nigeria. But we have a lot of work to do, and I'm ready. I'm here to do the work. And I'm not lazy at all. I'm just a little older. But once I get my weightlifting equipment here, I'll be able to run and beat everybody here. And the environment is wonderful. Beautiful green grass fields, and we're gonna make more grass fields here. We hope to build a gymnasium for that if it rains or if it's a Hamilton is too dusty, we can go inside. We're gonna have a weightlifting room where we're gonna lift weights, make everybody strong, because power is speed. Speed is power. We must have weightlifting. We're going to do core strength exercises. Core, the core means like in the center. We're going to make the body very strong in the center, which is going to make it very easy for the rest of the body to be very strong.
What I want you to tell us will be the fact that how was it easy for you to combine academics and professional sports? Because the ultimate aim of our students coming to the academy is for them to eventually become professional athletes.
What they do in America, if you don't have at least a C average, you cannot do sports. If you don't pass your classes, you cannot do sports. Even in secondary school, same in university. If you do not carry at least C, we have A, B, C. C is passing. If you cannot pass, you cannot do sports. So you're going to have to make a rule. Okay, you're here at the university, in our academy. To do sports, you got to have a certain level, performance in the classroom. If a guy is getting D's and F in the classroom, don't let him do sports. Don't let him even come to the field. You know what he's going to do? He's going to pick it up. If he loved the sport so much, that was my motivation. Oh man, I'd be nervous taking the exam because my coach told me. My coach tells us almost every other day, you guys get your grades. If you don't get your grades, you can't run. And everybody eyes get big and say, go to the library and study. It was a motivation. So you have to put a restriction on that. Say if you don't get a certain level GPA, grade point average, you can't do sports.
No, but what he's saying is, when they leave here, for example, and they spend 4 years in college and university in America, they'll be 20, 21. The mindset here is that it's too old. They are too old to now become professional athletes.
No, just like you told me that tall girl in Albert Cooler. She's only 21. I trained that girl. She can run till she's 31, 35. Every school that I've been in touch with, I have a lot of friends who coach in universities in America. Every time I come to Nigeria, Lee, send me some athletes. Send me some athletes like that girl from Ijebu Odi. They didn't say Ijebu Odi, but I'm saying it. Her name was Ajoke Odumosu. Yeah, send me some athletes like that I had at South Alabama. So it'd be really easy for me to send young athletes that we groom here at the Shegun Odegbami International College and Sports Academy to get scholarships for them to further their education for free. My parents did not pay for one penny for my 5 years of college, 5 years of university in America. And the athletes who come here to Wasimi will have the same opportunity, because I will train them where they will be offered a scholarship. Only thing you have to do is buy the flight ticket. I think the parents will buy the flight tickets because they don't have to pay for anything else for their children's education. And by the time they're in their second or third year in university, they will know how to save money to come home one summer. So if you come to school here at the Segun Odegbami International College and Sports Academy, if you run, I'll help you to go to school in America, where your parents don't have to pay anything. They just have to, there's a buy your flight ticket. And then Segun might buy that, I don't know.
Welcome home, Lee Evans.
Yes, I'm happy to be home, yeah.
Said, on the farm my father called me down behind a tree. He said, prostrate at my feet and say a few prayers. Then he told me all the stories of my brave ancestors. He said, look into my eyes, son, you were born to be great. So in the twilight I went home behind my father with a hole, listening to the songs of birds. With fast of the night I was singing 7 goats, 7 beats, 7 carries, 7 months, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy over sea, over land, over mountains in the ride. I'll be brave and I'll be strong.